like you to, we'd like you to read the prayer for our country, if you would, please.
Okay. Let me just find it in our prayer
Take
book.
your time. And we're on
Prayer
page
for our country.
100.
I did want to say one thing before, and that is, it wasn't my great privilege or honor to serve as a veteran. I'm not a veteran, but I would like to mention Alvin K. Birkin from Rodeph Sholom, who served in the Navy from 1966 to 1968. And in this year, in observance of the Veterans Day, I spoke at length to my dearest colleague, David Saltzman, who was in the Marines, and he's the only chaplain that I know from the seminary who served in Vietnam. And so I listened to his stories. And Carol, he would be a good person to interview. And now I'm honored to read this prayer. Are they going to? Is everybody going to join with me?
No, you do it solo. You do it solo.
Oh my goodness, solo. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, and for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Teach them insights from your Torah, that they may administer all affairs of state fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst. Creator of all flesh, bless all the inhabitants of our country with your spirit. May citizens of all races and creeds forge a common bond in true harmony to banish hatred, bigotry, and to safeguard the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom, helping them to fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. And let us say, Amen.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi Nelson. Thank you. Prayer for Israel. Judy will lead us on page 149 at the top.
אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ברך את מדינת ישראל וראשית צמיחת גאולתנו. הגן עליה בעברת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך. ושלח אורך ועמיתך וראשיה, שריה ויועציה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך. חזק את ידי נדיני ארץ קדשנו, והנחילם אלוהינו ישועה, ועטרת ניצחון תעטרם, ונתת שלום בארץ ושמחת עולם ליושביה, ונאמר.
Debbie, I'm going to invite you to come up now and lead us in the prayer for peace in honor of your 20th bat mitzvah anniversary. Okay, so here you go. Page 149, responsible.
May we see the day when war and bloodshed cease, when a great peace will embrace the whole world.
The nation will not break nation, and mankind will not again know war.
For all who live on earth shall realize we have not come into being to hate or to destroy. We have come into being to praise, to labor, and to love.
Compassionate God, bless the leaders of all nations and the power of compassion.
Fulfill the promise conveyed in scripture. I will bring peace to the land, and you shall lie down, and no one shall terrify you.
I will rid the land of its peace, and it shall not be ravaged by war.
Let love and justice flow like a mighty stream. Let peace fill the earth as the waters fill the sea. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. So we are about to announce a new month. And we're going to ask you to stand as a Sefer Torah will be taken up. And we are on page 150 for Birkat HaChodesh, the blessing of the new month.
יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהי אבותינו, שתחדש עלינו את החודש הבא בטובה ולברכה, ותיתן לנו חיים ארוכים, חיים של שלום, חיים של טובה, חיים של ברכה, חיים של פרנסה, חיים של חילוץ עצמות, חיים שיש בהם יראת שמיים ויראת חטא, חיים שאין בהם בושה וכלימה, חיים של אושר בכבוד, חיים שתבנו אהבת תורה, שתבנו אהבת תורה ויראת שמיים, חיים שימלאו משאלות ליבנו לטובה,
אמן.
מי שעשה ניסים,
מי שעשה ניסים
לאבותינו, מי שעשה ניסים,
מי שעשה ניסים
לאבותינו, וגאל אותם מעבדות לחירות, הוא יגאל אותנו בקרוב, ויקבץ נידחינו מארבע כנפות הארץ, חברים, חברים, חברים כל ישראל, חברים כל ישראל, חברים כל ישראל, ונאמר
אמן.
ראש חודש כסלו יהיה ביום חמישי ושישי, הבא עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ישראל לטובה. The new month of Kislev will be on Thursday and on Friday. May it hold blessing for us and for all the people of Israel. יחדשהו הקדוש ברוך הוא עלינו כל עמו בית ישראל, לחיים ולשלום,
אמן.
לששון ולשמחה,
אמן.
לישועה ולנחמה, ונאמר אמן.
Get out your dreidels, everybody. Okay.
ויושבי ביתך עוד יהללו חסל, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. אשרי יושבי ביתך, page 151.
Silent. I'll show you. אנחנו נברך יהה.
ילד אדוני דבר בי, ויברך כל בשר שופט של עולם ועד. ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה.
Rise as the ark is open, or actually we'll open the ark in a few moments. But we're returning a tour to the ark, page 153, 153. Okay.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כניסה ושמו לבדו, אדון ארץ ושמיים, וירם
Shabbat Sholom again, everyone. Carol is going to give a presentation in a few moments in honor of Veterans Day, which is observed every year on November 11th. We didn't do it last week rather, because of another program that preempted it, but not that it should, but it did.
Only turned 71.
Yeah. And I just want to say that this coming, well, first of all, I would like to wish each and every one of you a happy Thanksgiving, to you and to yours. And I hope it will be a meaningful holiday and celebration for us all. We certainly have so much to give thanks for. And we also have the opportunity to give thanks for Carol, because on Friday at 1 p.m., Carol will be receiving the Shem Tov Award from Rodeph Sholom. And the reason why Carol chose Friday at 1 p.m. was because that's the day, the opportunity when all of her three sons, who live in different geographical areas, will be together celebrating Thanksgiving holiday with Carol. So they'll all be here to participate in and witness the presentation of such a well-deserved award to Carol for everything she has done and continues to do for Rodeph Sholom. We'll say more about that Friday, but I want to mention it now so that if you haven't done so yet, put it on your calendars and try to be here on Friday at 1 p.m., this coming Friday. Carol?
Thanks. So before I begin my remarks, I have to give you just a little history. When we looked at Veterans Day and we knew that it was supposed to be last week, and I knew the rabbi was not supposed to be here, I said I would change. So if you're going to embarrass me, I'm going to embarrass you and tell you that there is nobody I would want to have here for Veterans Shabbat except you, Rabbi. So hence today. Now, to both rabbis who are here, Rabbi Nelson and Rabbi Eisenberg, I think you both have been in my head, or you know me far too well, because some of what you said is definitely what I have in mind. And I think you will appreciate it doubly when you hear. And the last order of business, and I don't know if any of you put two and two together, but those people who had honors today were either veterans, families of veterans, and that covers it, families and veterans. And that's what we try to make happen. So thank you, Brian Bedford, for jumping through hoops for me to make that happen. Now, what I want to share with you. Welcome to Veterans Shabbat. This Shabbat will be different from years past when we have heard stories from our veterans and last year from our centenarian, Irving Glazer. As I compiled the list of veterans with a connection to Rodeph Sholom, I began with 38 whom I had documented. I then met with Jonathan Green, who had an extensive list of Jewish veterans whom he knew had a Rodeph Sholom connection. Of course, our lists were different. His was comprised of those who are deceased. And while some of mine were too, there were many who are very much alive. Between our meeting on Veterans Day last Friday and this past Tuesday, I began to receive calls and emails with more names. People who either served themselves or family members who wanted names recorded. Curiously and typically, many of the folks who contacted me tried to tell me they should not be considered veterans since they were in the reserves or National Guard and did not see action. Military veterans are defined as those who served in the armed forces and were discharged honorably. Therefore, those who thought they were not important enough to be on my list, well, you know, they are now. Last Friday evening, the actual Veterans Day, I attended Temple Emmanuel in New York virtually, since I had visited the Converso exhibit there only 2 days before and was overwhelmed by its sanctuary. Wanting to see what services were like, I found myself at Veterans Shabbat, listening to Rabbi Irving Elson, a former Navy chaplain of 35 years on active duty. He is currently vice president of the JCC Association of North American Jewish Chaplains and director of the JWB Jewish Chaplains. All week, I have been thinking about his words. He was asked the question, what does Judaism bring to the military to fight? He first spoke about being on Omaha Beach for the first time, thinking about what the servicemen must have thought when they landed there. I could relate to that, thinking the very same thing when I stood on Omaha Beach with Matthew and his family this past summer. And then Rabbi Elson listed 3 things Jewish servicemen and women carry with them when they go off to serve. 1, tikkun olam, to prepare the world with acts of kindness. 2, ritual, saying Shehecheyanu upon returning home, and saying Kaddish when a comrade in arms has died. And last, tefillah, prayers to say when they are needed. I was completely taken by his words as I thought about our veterans, and each one of you is probably sitting there nodding your head in agreement. From that moment, I had a vision of what I could do to recognize all of our Jewish veterans here in the greater Bridgeport area, beginning right here at home in Rodeph Sholom. My list, the list you will see during Kiddush, has 100 names on it. It's on the table where dessert will be served. It is not only those who served in the military who are to be recognized, but the families as well. And you have heard me say that for years. So now I'm going to ask, if you served during World War II, or you are a family member of a serviceman or woman from World War II, please stand. Thank you. Okay, next on the list, the same, you can sit down. The same for the Korean War, servicemen and women and families, please rise. Okay, thank you. The same for Vietnam. Servicemen and women, please rise. And last but not least, those from the global war on terror and currently serving, please rise. If I missed a category, I invite you to rise now.
Israeli veterans.
Nima, you may rise. In studying my list, I counted 2 had served in World War I, 64 in World War II, 4 in the Korean War, 8 in Vietnam, 2 in the global war on terror. Those are mine. 4 are currently serving, and 14 served in an assortment of years that the veterans did not define by name. The more I thought about these veterans, I knew I had to do something, and all of a sudden it came to me. Here is my dream, and you can help. I want to create a museum, in a word, or a repository for names and photos of Jewish war veterans in the greater Bridgeport community. I will need your help to share names and spread the word. Right now, this is a dream for me, but I can assure you, our veterans will not be forgotten. You will notice how closely aligned this is to every plaque has a story. Each and every one who served was and is important. And we not only need to remember them, but we salute them. We salute all of you. To that end, I have a letter to share on loan from Morris Allenson, who was not able to be with us today. It is a letter that no parent, spouse, or sibling ever wants to receive. From the headquarters, the 11th Armored Division, dated January 25th, 1945. Mr. Harry Allenson, 106 Hillsdale Avenue, Woodmont, Connecticut. My dear Mr. Allenson, by this time you will have been notified officially by the War Department of the death of your son, Private Eli Allenson, 311-24642, who was killed in action in Belgium on December 31st, 1944. I write to express the deepest sympathy of myself and all officers and men of the division in your loss. You have lost a beloved son, and we have lost a loyal, faithful, and gallant comrade. Your son fought gallantly as a member of the 21st Armored Infantry Battalion in a most critical operation of the war. The manner in which he fought aroused a lasting pride in his comrades, his officers, and in myself. Your son is buried in an American cemetery in France. A Jewish chaplain performed the last rites of his faith, and every reverent attention was paid in the services at that time. There must be some purpose for which men such as your son sacrifice their lives, and in which all members of the American Army are struggling at this time in the severities of midwinter. To see and experience the hardships, the suffering, and the loss in civilian communities in this locality may indicate why we are continuing this struggle to a final and permanent victory, in order that these painful misfortunes may never befall our own country. Only a people and a nation in which there is something fine, something noble, and something great can produce such men as your son. To preserve those things, your son gave the most precious possession of man, his life. We who remain shall continue to battle in order to assure the preservation of those institutions, and manner of life which set apart the American people as a great shining light in this world, as a symbol of hope to all weaker and less fortunate people. My heartfelt sympathy goes out to you in your deep sorrow. I know how difficult it is to assuage your grief at a loss so overwhelming. But I feel that you, as do I, may take a lofty personal pride in the supreme sacrifice paid by such a patriotic and gallant soldier in the cause of freedom and the future welfare of humanity. Yours very sincerely, Chaz S. Kilburn, Brigadier General, USA Commanding. And so, my friends, you can now see why I feel so strongly about remembering and thanking our veterans. I hope you feel the same. God bless them.
What a letter. Oh my goodness. Imagine just the heart and soul that went into the composition of that letter. So Carol, thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for sharing your personal comments and remarks as well. As we once again extend our gratitude to all of our veterans and their families for their service to our country. Continue now with the Musaf service on page 155.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבו ועולמד דברי קירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון נוחד לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב מירוחם שמירתם ברוך לעולם ולמעלה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתקדש שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה וירוחם.
We will join together in the chanting of the beginning of the Amidah, pages 156b through 157, and then complete the Amidah silently.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor, HaNorah, Ha'el Elyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim V'chonei Hakol, V'zofer Chasdei Avot, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו ויאהבה. מלך עוצר פוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיי ביתי מטרה והושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחלקל חיים בחסד, לחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומכיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר, מלחמות בגבורות, ומדום אליו, מלך מביט ומחייב, ומצביע ישועה, ונאמנת לחיות מתים,
Baruch atah Adonai Elohim.
נרצה ונקדישך כחצייה ספק קודש, המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה לזה ואמר,
קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא הארץ כבודו.
כבודו משענת השואלים זה לזה, איה מקום כבודו לעומתם ברוך, לעומתם ברוך
יאמרו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומו הוא ייפן, ממקומו הוא ייפן, הוא ייפן ברחמים. ויחונם העם יחד עם שמו ערב הבוקר לכל יום תמיד. המים ביחד שמה אומרים,
שמע
ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
הוא
אלוהינו הוא אבינו, הוא עמנו, מושיענו,
והוא ישמיענו
ברחמיו,
והוא ישמיענו
ברחמיו,
שהית לעיני כל חי, להיות לכם לאלוהים.
אני אדוני
אלוהיכם, ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור.
ימלוך אדוני אלוהים אלי ציון לדור ודור, הללויה.
ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור, נגיד God לך.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד God לך.
ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים,
קדושת לך נגיד.
ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים,
קדושת לך נגיד.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור, נגיד God לך.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד God לך.
ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, וימוש לעולם ועד. כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, וקדוש אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלך הקדוש. Oh, say shalom, shalom, Roma. Oh, yaseh, shalom. Oh, say shalom, shalom, Roma. Oh, yaseh, shalom. Oh, yaseh, shalom. Shalom aleinu. Ve'al Israel, ve'immeru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom.
Page 181, Kaddish Shalem.
התקדש שמי רבה, וחיילים רבים לבן לפרקותי וחייבונו וימכונו חי תחל בית ישראל, ועגלה עוד מנקרי ואמרו, אמן, יש מרע מברך, אבל יתברך וישר ויתפאר ויתרומה ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה, בריחו לילה לפה בחטא ושירתה תשמרתה ונחמתה דמרה בעלמא ואמרו, אמן, יתקבל בוטון ובוטון תכל ישראל תודה מבוהל דבישמיא ואמרו, אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Continue, Debbie. I invite you to come up and lead us in Ein Eloheinu, page 182.
Ein Eloheinu, Eka Adonenu, Ein Malkeinu, Ein Moshileinu, Eloheinu, Eka Adonenu, Ein Malkeinu, Ein Moshileinu, Eloheinu. Rodeph Adonenu, Rodeph Malkeinu, Rodeph Hoshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Hoshienu, Adon Eloheinu, Adon Adonenu, Adon Malkeinu, Adon Hoshienu, Adon Shetiru, Avotenu, Lefanecha Ektorah Samin.
Rise for Aleinu, 183.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon Hakol,
Mateinu lan yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'toyei harason, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu b'hem, ve'or aleinu k'chol avoda, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachlim u'modim lifnei Eloheinu. Okay, I'm lucky.
Hakatuv b'Torah Techa, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed.
Thank you, Rodeph Sholom Choir. That was very nice.
The choir may be seated.
Yes. I should call it Gracie. I should call it Debbie. Okay, man.
The yard sites for today, the 25th of Teshvan, we remember Molly Aarons, Sidney Esner, Harry Goldsmith, Samuel Liederman, Maurice Blazik, Mark Rubin, Ruth Selig, Mania Singer, Clara Stepinski, Elaine Wiener, and Jenny Weinstein. We recall the protection of members, member relatives, and others who passed in the last year. Marilyn Lee Rappaport, Louis Krasowski, Marvin Silverman, J. Robert Friend, Marfisa Valente, Ernest Tischler, Stanley Richer, Muriel Lovitz, Ruth Rosenblatt, Joel Fagan, Michael Brody, Jack Roggins, Fern Meadowcroft, Edith Rome, Herbert J. Gold, May Margulies, Abraham Gordon, Yisaf Yaakov Blacks, Helen Weinstein, Lyndon Golden Peloquin, Leonard Glantz, Mativia Teslia, Phyllis Steinberg, Sheila Sloves, Ethel Shapiro, Patricia Simmons, and Leonard Gold. Mourner's Carter, she wrote second.
Page 184. Page 184.
Yekadal, Yekadash, Shemay Rabba.
Amen.
Yaman, Difrat Yurate, Yamlet Makute. V'chayikon, Yomekon, V'chayet, V'chayet Israel, V'agala, V'zman, Karit, Yemru, Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
Shmei Rabam Borach Le'olam L'Amei U'Mayah Yivarach
Shemay Tekudasha,
Rebu.
V'ela, Minkol, V'chata, V'shirata, Tush B'chata, V'nechamata, Yamiran V'amar V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlom Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'akol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom V'mamav, V'ya Aseh Shalom Aleinu V'akol Yisrael V'imru,
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. You all got a sheet. I'm just going to go over a couple of things. First of all, thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Cantor. Thank you, Rabbi Nelson. A big thank you to Carol for an amazing program, an amazing words she shared with us today. Each year it gets more and more special. And I also want to thank Carol. You'll see she cooked. Not only did she sponsor the Shabbat, the Kiddush, she cooked for the Kiddush and she put things together and she's been working on it all week. So we want to thank Carol for everything, all red, white, and blue. So thank you. And also, I mentioned Shem Tov on Friday at 1 o'clock. We hope you all. And the interesting thing is we sent out a notice about Shem Tov, and it was the only thing we did not ask for an RSVP for. I got tons of RSVPs. So when I ask for an RSVP, I don't get it. But when I done it, but we're thrilled, and we have many more people coming than we thought. And so we'll prepare it. It's a beautiful dessert reception afterwards. I want to, we have a toy drive going on with, in conjunction with our home. So please make sure that if you have toys you want to drop off, they're here by November 30th. Church of Apostles will once again do the glove and hat drive. Please drop it off by December 15th. Brand new to the calendar is a Hanukkah celebration with the Church of Apostles and the Brazilian Baptist Mission. That'll be Wednesday, December 21st, 6:30 to 7:30 at night with latkes, singing, dancing, raffle drawing at 7 o'clock. You will see on the list, and for people who are on Zoom, all of our services, tonight is 4:15. All of our services are regular with the exception of Thursday, Thanksgiving, and Friday. Both of them are Rosh Chodesh. We will have Thursday morning will be Thursday will just be a morning service on Zoom only at 8:15, and Friday will be because of Rosh Chodesh, we will be having a Zoom only service at 8 in the morning, and then you'll get the thing next Friday night about what the services are. Then also, since there are more people here today, I will announce that January and February, especially for our Zoomers who loved our little Zoom community, we will be Zoom only January and February for a variety of reasons. And the board unanimously approved that. And last, but I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything, anybody? The office will only be open Monday this week. There will be people here maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but officially open Monday. Shabbat Sholom, everybody. And once again, thank you to Carol for a beautiful day and for everybody on Zoom and in the room for attending.
Thank you, Debbie. And maybe the lesson you learned, Debbie, in the future when you have programs,
Yes.
and you want an RSVP, simply say youth reverse psychology and say no RSVP necessary or something like that. And then maybe you get a better idea of numbers. Yeah, Adon Olam, Debbie, come on up. Let's conclude with Adon Olam on 187, and then the closing benediction and the Kiddush.
Param, 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 Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malam,
Asher Malam,
Terem Kol,
Terem Kol,
Yitzir
Yetzir Nivra,
V'yeit Naso,
Let Nasa V'Vetz Kol, Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Le'vado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Obed, Ve'hu Yiyeh B'Tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malam,
Asher Malam,
Terem Kol,
Terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yetzir Nivra,
V'yeit Naso,
Let Nasa
V'Vetz
V'Vetz
Kol,
Kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon, Ve'hu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Le'ham Shilo, Le'ham Biro Adon Olam, Ve'li Reshit, Ve'li Tachlit, Ve'lo Oz Ve'ham Yisrael Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malam,
Asher Malam,
Terem Kol,
Terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yetzir Nivra,
V'yeit Naso,
Let Nasa V'Vetz Kol, Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam,
Ve'hu Ein Li, V'chai Goel Li, V'tzurka Li V'yetzara Adon Olam, Ve'hu Nisi, U'manos Li, V'nafasi V'yom Nikra Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malam,
Asher Malam,
Terem Kol,
Terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra,
V'yeit Naso,
Let Nasa V'Vetz Kol, Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam,
Ve'yado, Atkir Ruchi, Ve'tishan Ve'ayra Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi, Yeviyati, Adon Ani V'lo Yira Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malam,
Asher Malam,
Terem Kol,
Terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yetzir Nivra,
V'yeit Naso,
Let Nasa V'Vetz Kol, Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
Shabbat Shalom, Yeshua. Please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord cause his countenance to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his favor unto you and grant you the blessings of peace, now and always. And let us all say,
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Mishamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat. Keini u'bnei Yisrael